So welcome to another podcast. Appreciate you. Make sure that thumbs up and subscribe. And don't forget the other channel, Mark McCann 64, with all our usual stupid stuff. And today I have my two best men from the wedding. That's where you just seen them, Brett and Darb. I've wrote them in. They don't want to do it. Brett's an amazing carpenter and definitely doesn't want to be doing podcasts. And Darb is a Redditch rapper and he's quite happy being doing podcasts. So let's get straight into it. So the main reason we're here today is because as a family, we always used to do Weston Beach Race. So I've raced motocross many years. And it was always our family holiday where we used to go down, my mum, my dad, my brother, and all my friends. And we used to go down to Weston, stop in the same hotel every year and race it. Now, I haven't done it for a long time, but unfortunately, my dad has recently passed away. And so we've decided, well, my idea was to do one last time. And I've wrote Brett and Darb, both who haven't done it before, both who actually don't want to do it anyway. But I've managed to sort of talk them into, we've basically... You've borrowed bikes, haven't you? Both of you have,
yep.
Which isn't, if you know Weston Beach Race, borrowing a bike isn't ideal, but luckily the people who are lending the bike won't have seen this before. Oh no, they will have. This will come out before Weston. Doesn't hurt the bike at all. Bit of WD-40. It's all going to be okay. Darb's bike looks like brand new, to be fair.
Oh, amazing. I've had a picture just sent me
Have
an
you?
hour ago.
Have you really?
Flipping amazing. Do you want to see it?
Yeah.
Do you know what it is?
125 Suzuki.
Oh, I bet you're jealous, aren't you?
Yeah, that's my favourite bike. A 125 Suzuki was always fast, but it was super unreliable, I suppose. It had a gearbox made of balsa wood, so it never, and a clutch to match.
3 neutrals.
No, there was no neutral in between first and second where you should find it, but there was a neutral in between every other gear. So all the way around there, you could find a neutral to break your collarbones.
That's going to be my excuse.
So what are we, I suppose, let's start off with, I've raced motocross and I've done Weston Beach Race, I don't know how many times, maybe at least 10, maybe 15, finished it lots and lots of times. The last time I did it was about probably, do you reckon 10 years ago?
Easy. I remember I was in Vienna when you did it last time.
So how long do you reckon that was?
Got to be 12 years.
12 years ago.
More.
And it was the last, I was really embarrassed because I got so tired and I just didn't enjoy it. So I pulled out, had a bit of emotional moment with my dad and said that I don't want to do it. And he turned around and said, if you don't want to do it, let's carry on. Let's go home then. So we went home early and I thought that was my end of my Western career. So Brett, what's your background with, obviously Brett races BMXs.
Yep.
Massively. What's the current situation on the?
I wouldn't say massively.
Where have you finished? Come on, big it up.
National ranking on the Cruiser, which is a 24-inch BMX.
So bigger wheels.
Bigger wheels.
So not a real BMX.
It is. These national rankings 4th, and on the 20, I've finished 20-inch BMX. I've finished 7th
In the whole country.
Over the series. We raced the British Championships, which is the whole country, and I finished 6th on the Cruiser because that's like on the day.
Yeah.
And you get people from the national series and their regional series.
Yeah, so everyone's there.
Everyone's there on that British Championship day. And I finished 6th on the Cruiser, and I finished 6th in the semi on the 20-inch, but it put me 11th.
But we also need to say that that age group is 40 to...
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, no, we got our age, so that we got to lie. So that's 30 to 40, and you're at the end of the 30s. So in a little while, you're going to be the youngest in the 40s, and that will make a massive difference, especially at our age.
Yes, yeah. Oh, because I reckon every 5 years you go up, you're like becoming more and more decrepit, aren't you?
It depends on you. And so motorbike background.
Yeah.
So you always had small bikes, didn't you?
Yeah. And I had a KX125 in like 90 when we sort of left school, 1991.
But did you have PWs and stuff like that?
When I was a kid, I've always had a
2001 when you left school.
But yeah, always had a TY80 was my first
Did you?
bike. Yeah, when I was 5, I had a brand fire new TY80.
Oh, I'd have done anything for, like, remember Kickstarter?
Yeah, that's what it was from, I think. Because my brothers both raced. And that was like first bike, trials bike, because it's not Sophia's. There's a motocross bike and it'll help you learn the bike better. So that's what they got me. And then obviously I had a YZ85 then. Yeah, YZ85 after the TY80 from a shop in Coventry called Dirt Wheels. Do you remember that?
Oh, I remember, Brian.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know his name, but yeah, Dirt Wheels. I remember going
on the A45.
Yeah, and it was just amazing.
That's a housing estate now, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, totally gone.
Oh, gutted.
But I reckon that was his good day.
Yeah.
If you imagine when he sold that
it's when
property.
For houses.
For houses, I bet that was his favourite day in the world.
Yeah.
So Yam 85.
Yeah.
It can't have been an 85 back then.
No, it'd been 80.
It would have
Was
been
it
an
80?
80.
Was it 80?
Yeah.
You're trying to make yourself out to be a lot younger.
Yeah, it'd definitely been an 80.
And then I had a 1987 KX 125.
So that was, and then
A lot.
So you raced that.
I raced it AMCA for a year, and you was on a black 89 Honda.
Yeah,
but I think you
125.
was like championship riding them, weren't you?
Yeah,
Or
so
125
125
qualifying. You was
qualifiers. That would have been.
expert,
Yeah.
And then, but that was it for me. I only did because my brother broke his knee, and he used to take me everywhere, so I couldn't go then.
Oh, that was the end of that then.
Yeah, well, we were booked in to do Weston Beach Race, but it never happened. Yeah, paid and everything, and it never happened.
No way.
Yeah,
Because you couldn't get down there.
he just couldn't. So we went and watched. We went and watched it. And
Oh,
it's
wow.
camped because we paid for the camping and everything.
I'm counting that then.
You well, no,
I'm counting that as you've done it. So you've both done Western and I haven't.
no.
You've been to Western more times than anybody to watch.
That year, I bumped into you in the arcade, and you was with Howard.
Was Howard down there?
Yeah,
then?
you and Howard. Yeah, Mark Howard.
No way. God,
See-
that was some years ago.
Did he have an 88 KX 125?
Yeah.
With the blue side panels?
Yeah. Yeah, 88 or 89.
Which is, I mean, it's going back, it's brilliant, isn't it? And you see people restoring these sort of, saying retro. It seems like yesterday.
Any motocross fans will know that like this stuff now is worth, I'd say, as much as a modern bike. It's
More. So
Yeah.
when they're done properly, it's
because there's a big scene of what they call the Evo scene, and there's just been a recent one which Dave King and Rob Walters put on, VMXDN, I think it is.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've seen the pictures.
I haven't.
It was unbelievable. There was, I'd say, not even thousands, maybe tens of thousands or something.
Definitely.
It was just like
good?
it's a massive thing, isn't it?
Would it be something to go to next year to watch?
Yeah, I have been to it once.
What about riding it?
No interest. It's hard enough on a modern bike, isn't it?
You could ride it though, couldn't you?
Yeah, no interest. Like literally, imagine racing around foxholes. That's only going to end one way.
Put it out there. Who wants to see Mark?
Who wants to see Mark in an air ambulance?
Yeah, MXDN. Can you imagine that, saying you've raced that?
Yeah,
That'd just
no, I got no, definitely. I don't really know why we're doing Western. But so then since then you've always had bikes, haven't you? Sort of like the big red.
Yes, yeah. Honda. I had a WR450F.
Oh, of course, yeah, I forgot about
which
the
was
WR.
the enduro bike, which was great because I rode that everywhere. I even rode it to London, didn't I? In my van, I crashed my van, and I had a meeting with the Earl of Mornington in Notting Hill, and
The stories.
and when I went down, he asked me to go and look at a job at this house in Notting Hill, and I'd crashed my van the week before, and I rode the WR. I was late, but I went the back way, and I got to Oxford, and I was late by about half an hour. So I jumped on the motorway, and I was doing like about 90 in the hard shoulder because my neck was hurting because the peak. It's like that. And I got there, and he was well impressed when I turned up on that because it had like an FMF Power Core 4 on, and it sounded amazing. And then I went for a meeting at the gumball office. From his house, I rode to the gumball rally office.
And that was because you were friends with...
I was friends with Aidan Butler.
Our friend.
Yeah, our friend.
You are friends with Aidan now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Spoke to him yesterday, didn't you?
Yeah, went out for a drink with him. But the Earl of Mornington was married to Gemma Kidd, which was Jodie Kidd's sister.
Ah, that's where the whole thing came about.
That's where the loop come in, yeah. It was just like...
So Brett knows... Everybody has a story in every. You do mix with some.
Obviously, yeah. Well, no,
and now he's stuck with us.
He's lowered himself now.
He's stuck back in Redditch.
Yeah.
In God's country, not just Redditch, it's God's country.
And then there was obviously a lot of enduro, just playing.
Just riding just for fun. When you're not working, if you got a chance, just someone would say, "Oh, we're going up to Wales to do some, some off road." And I was like, "Yeah." We used to go to a place called Tom's Farm.
Oh yeah, Tom's Farm.
Day after Boxing Day, we used to go every year the day after Boxing Day, and there'd be like probably 5 or 6 Range Rover, Land Rovers, all set up for off road, and there'd probably be about 10 bikes. Used to meet up there day after boxing. We all used to go together.
Oh wow,
brilliant! The one bloke came in a Hummer that was out of the film Black Hawk Down, and he took a load of pit bikes in the Hummer and a load of blokes, and then on the way back, he lost his brakes and he come off the road with them all in it. We had to pull the Hummer back out onto the road. How they weren't killed. Honestly,
do you think they weren't killed because there was that many of them in there? There was no room to move.
The bikes they were battered. The bikes had come over and smashed them all in the body, the head. They were all like grumbling when they got out. Some of them had been knocked out and stuff. Just stuck them back in. Got the Hummer out the field and carried on. And I think one of us drove in front of him because of the brakes.
That makes sense.
Well, no, just so that he could, not run away with it. If he's going to hit anything, he'd hit the van, wouldn't he? Slow him down.
Brilliant. And so you went to do Western once, but obviously never got there.
Never got there.
So this is going to be your...
Second.
No, first.
No.
And then Darb's story.
Right. Motocross?
Yep.
Oh, can't tell you the year.
I'd say...
Should we start with bikes? So when I was a real little kid, anybody who sees my picture on WhatsApp.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a Putsch on there.
Yeah, a Pooch Magnum.
Yeah.
I think I was 4.
Really that young?
Yeah. I loved it. I loved bikes since I was that young. My mum and dad both had bikes when I was little. So that was the only way for me. Then when I was a little bit older, when I was in my teens, obviously I was getting into a lot of trouble and stuff. So my mum thought it'd be a good idea to get me into something. So she bought me a motocross bike, which was a KX 100.
Is that what you had? 100?
Yeah, I had 100.
Imagine how much money that must be worth now.
Yeah.
They're rare.
It was brilliant. It was lovely.
Because that was a big wheeled 85, just with a bit more horsepower.
Yeah.
Well, a big wheeled 80.
Yeah, an 80 back then, yeah. But yeah, big wheeled.
And did you ever race that?
Yeah, race for 1 year, Brett, just like you.
And that was the AMCA again, wasn't it? Reddish Bears or
for the
whatever
Bears.
it's called.
It was the Bears, same as you.
Reddish
But
Bears.
I think it was like maybe a year or two before you.
Peplers Farm.
Yeah. I think my first one.
Was that?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. That was my second race. My first one was the Lenches, Church
Was
Lench.
it? Oh, wow, what a track.
Do you remember having the team race there?
Yeah, I do.
I just had a power pipe fitted to mine. It was going well, and I think I was running like second or third. It was big. I just remember it was great.
Yeah, the team races were amazing because it was all the classes, wasn't it? Juniors, seniors, experts. It was, good days.
So yeah, that was my second race at Webbeath.
Yeah.
In Redditch. I remember the morning well. One of my friends stayed at my house the night before, and we pushed the bike
To the track.
from my house.
No van.
At 6 o'clock in the morning. We pushed it, me and my mate, and everybody was passing us, stopping in their cars, saying, "Do you want a lift?" And we were like, nah, pushed it, carrying a can, pushed the bike there.
From where?
From Headless Cross to Webbeath.
Your mum and dad's house now?
Yeah, no, where they used to live. But still, like, I don't know, 2 miles.
Probably more. It's more than that.
Probably 2 miles.
At least it's downhill, isn't it, most of it?
It was.
Yeah.
No, he'd have had to come up the hill first, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
'Cause you
yeah.
were down.
Yeah, but it was,
way.
that was like 6 in the morning we got up. My mum and dad weren't, I don't know.
Could you not put it in your dad's milk float?
Yeah, I think he was doing the milk, and that's why he must have been doing the milk on the Sunday.
Yeah. He couldn't take you.
Flipping brilliant. It's brilliant. mate.
That's ace, isn't it? Pushing your bike to the
Yeah.
motocross meeting.
Just with a can of oil,
That's commitment, that is.
Yeah.
some 2-stroke mixed up. Everything was ready to go. Brilliant. Just got there. I'll never ever forget it. First race there. So excited. A few of my friends were there. I don't think you were there then.
No, it'd been before, like you say, it would have been a year. Or I was first in the AMCA 18. I think it was 89.
I'll have to have a look. Still got all the brochures.
I reckon you must have been before 89 because when I started, you were on that black Honda and you was already expert.
Yeah, no, you're right. It was probably 88 then because that was an 89 and I was on a 125. So,
Yeah.
because I progressed on 100.
Did you?
Yeah, that's where I got from to juniors to seniors to experts.
Did
on
you race
100.
schoolboy as well?
No. Well, I did a year on an 80 Honda, but I was more into BMX. I just wanted
Yeah.
to go BMX racing. And
Yeah.
it wasn't really, I was scared.
Yeah.
My dad used to have to stand at the bottom of the hills because I was scared I couldn't go up the hills. So my dad, every time there was a big hill, I never used to want to go to a race with a big hill.
No.
And so he used to stand at the bottom. Imagine Weston. My dad would have to stood on every dune. Maybe he did back in the day.
I was going to say, I bet you he would have as well to
Yeah,
make sure you
definitely.
got round.
Definitely. So that was 1 year of racing.
1 year racing. I think that would have been 87.
Yeah.
That was 87. So year before you. First race. That second race at Webheath, everybody fell off at the first corner. I thought, I'll go wide, let everybody chaos
Come
first
together.
and they all did.
Yeah.
I've come out the first corner, I'm like third. So then I'm
Buzzing.
shitting myself for the whole race because I know the fast boys are coming. And back then they used to shout, get out there, fucking way. And of course you just had to get out of the way. And I held it together there. I think there was a few jumps back then. Nothing too special, but I used to hate jumps because I was like,
Was there still the water crossing?
I think there was a little water. I think it was quite a dry day, but yeah, there's a bit of a water crossing.
you went in and
some
out
like
there,
waves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We call them whoops, but they were more waves,
Yeah, they
weren't
were.
they? But they were whoops to me.
A tabletop the size of this table.
Yeah, that's how big it was. But there was no
And
jumps back then.
three
but
bumps.
I think I still managed to fall off a jump, hurt my arm.
Because there was a couple of like drop-offs and stuff,
Yeah.
wasn't there? Like,
Yeah, that's what it was, a drop off.
Yeah.
yeah, it was a great track.
I remember you whole shotting and coming off there.
That sounds about normal, to be fair. Most days have been a whole shot and a fall off, haven't they?
Oh, yeah.
I've always been, my best part has been starting, not finishing. That's pretty much how
Finishing was a good day.
Yeah.
I remember Simon on it. Was he had a 9250? A 199250, would he?
It must have been about, he probably did go to 250 because I remember the first year at Oldham Park when I was we were both in the seniors and I was on a KX 100 winning and my brother was on a 125 Honda, I think, it must have been a 125 Honda. He come up behind me, wiped us both out and I just remember my dad, like back then you're allowed to punch kids, weren't you? And I just remember my dad going absolutely mental at Simon.
Oh, God.
Like just, because Simon could have easily have just overtook me, but he hadn't, like back then he was just like, he would purposely ride through people for the amount of fights. But that was all part of it, wasn't it, back in AMCA? And
Do
everything?
you remember at that track, was it Peplers?
Yeah.
So I remember AD Jessup, he, on that bit where you went through the water and over the tabletop, he come together with somebody and they were having a full-on scrap on the track. And everyone's like, what is that bit? It was a bit higher than everywhere else.
Yeah,
isn't
yeah,
it? So
it was, yeah.
everyone's like watching, going, and I remember him coming off and where the bloke had punched him through the helmet, he'd knocked the lens out the goggle and it had gone in and he had like a massive like bit of skin. And I remember thinking, That's going to be sore, like, do you know what I mean? I'm sure it was him. I'm sure it was Adi.
Adi was one of the guys that stopped to give me a lift on when we was
Was
putting
he?
the bike. Yeah,
Do you remember all the kit he used to have? He always had the best kit, didn't he?
Yeah.
Always look. Even now he races that Evo stuff.
I was going to say,
and
I've seen a
he's
picture
always
of him.
got the best looking kit. Always.
Cookie put something on Facebook, Ian.
Yeah.
He put something on Facebook of him at the veteran race, and
Yeah,
he looked
he did.
jumping down the hill.
Yeah.
And he still looked really trick, like really.
Yeah.
It's
He's
amazing,
fit for his age and stuff, I suppose. So yeah, no.
And he's a bit older than me. I think Adi's
Is he?
3 years older than me.
Yeah, he's got to be. Yeah.
Really?
And Dave was
He's doing well.
years older than him.
Yeah, I've never heard of Dave.
They
sort of
both used to
very
do
often.
BMX as well,
BMX,
didn't
yeah.
they?
Yeah,
Good.
because I think Aid was quite. No, Dave was really good, wasn't
Dave
he?
was-
He was on
Yeah.
Team Halfords.
Yeah,
he was
he
on the original Halfords team.
And he
which
did
was
something with
factory.
BMX as well. I think he did some bikes or something as well.
Yeah, he did do some like industry wise, didn't he?
He worked for Steve Wilson, making
in
Wilson
Redditch.
frames. Yeah.
God, we are going back a bit.
Yeah.
And so, any aspirations to ever do Western?
Always wanted to do it.
Because
but
you've watched a lot of times, haven't you?
Yeah, I have been to Western a lot.
Because your mum and dad always had a caravan
Yeah.
in Breen,
Yeah.
which is the next town.
Yeah, but even when I was really young, after I did motocross, I went there and saw you at least once when we were really young. Big gap, and then pretty much did every Western Beach race with you then when you were doing it from, I don't know.
Yeah, God knows when I first did it. God knows when. I remember it was always used to get a 252 stroke. And yeah, originally though, Western was all about finishing, wasn't it? It was that hard. Like now, it's definitely like way easier because of health and safety, I suppose.
Safer.
But like it used to be, the dunes used to be ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But now, I'd say it's definitely easier because they're all like.
Stop using that. Yeah, stop
sure?
using that easy. Stop
last
using that
year.
easy word.
I went last year and the one gym was bigger than a hotel.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I was thinking.
They always have one or two massive ones, don't they? But we can go around them.
Can you? No, you
No,
can't
you
do that. That's
can't.
cheating.
I'm just trying to make it sound better.
I was thinking that's cheating. You
I'm
can't
going to need
do
to poo
that.
in a minute. Stop it.
Get nervous.
Yeah,
already.
you can definitely go around the big ones. Don't worry. I'm having nobody can back out yet. So we've each managed to blag a bike. Mine doesn't work at the minute. So yeah, I managed to set that on fire yesterday, but that's work in progress. We had a go in the field yesterday. I managed to do about 4 laps, probably about 5 laps. Brett went for a marathon session and you must have done a good 7 or 8 laps.
I did 6, I think.
6,
Yeah.
but non-stop.
Yeah, I reckon you did 6 at the end.
Yeah.
Didn't you do 1 first or 1 or 2 first?
I just rode around the outside. It looked like an automobile graveyard. It looked like something out of cars. There's bits of car everywhere, and there.
We do need to tidy up a mini. There's like you could probably build another mini with all the bits all the way around. I think there's everything apart from an engine.
Panels and everything.
23rd of October. So yeah, we may as well say that. So 23rd of October, we'll all be. How Weston works, it's a 3-hour endurance race, which obviously we will definitely not be finishing 3 hours. So if you want to come there and watch us, I'd say get there early because there's no way you're going to catch us in the last hour unless you'll go to the carvery. We'll be in the Toby carvery from about, if it starts at 1, we'll probably, from 2:30, we'll be in the Toby carvery. But we're going to be down. I don't know when you're going to go down.
I reckon I'll be better at eating a carvery than I will be riding around Weston.
Maybe we can combine the two.
Yeah.
Like a carrot and a donkey on a string.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'll be down there from the Thursday night because we've got our stall, the usual Throw System stall in the trade area. I guess you'll be there the same.
Yeah, Thursday, Friday.
And Brett?
Yeah. I'll
plans, I suppose.
No.
Won't do that to the day before.
He'd be working the day before, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I'll
We'll be working on the morning.
Working on the night.
The race doesn't start till 12. He'll get a couple of hours in.
I'll work as much as I can, and then I can. Once I'm done, and I can just focus on the riding the bike, which will be great.
And these two want to go out again. And
Hang on a minute, you're having a go at me for working. You've got the stall there. You've got the fro stall. So
He won't be working though, will he?
I won't be able to. I've been in the
He won't
zone.
be able to leave it. He wasn't going to work last year, and he was like, every time he's seen
I didn't even see a second of the race.
No, it was manic, wasn't it?
It's just the time to give a call out for Graham and Swift.
Yeah, Graham and Swift are already booked in. So the workers are already.
Flipping now.
Graham's a legend,
job.
and Swift is like unbelievable at making bacon sandwiches as well. And she's till lady. So, but obviously it's difficult with Jane because of Senna. So she rules the roost. So might have to. I think Chance is coming down to help as well. Nick was coming, but he's now booked a holiday. So unfortunately, he's not coming. So I think we've got. We'll have to get our bikes in. To be fair, we can put them in any time. So we can, because Gareth's sort of like keen for us to do it.
Yeah.
I think we can. In theory, you're supposed to put your bikes in on Friday morning.
Yeah.
Which we either can,
Yeah.
or we can put them in on Saturday or Sunday, whichever.
Okay. I'll come Friday morning then. That's the plan.
Yeah, it'd be good to go Friday morning, wouldn't it? And then, because Friday won't be as busy, so we can like look at the track and then make every excuse why we're not going to do it.
You can't, not when you're there.
When we're committed.
You go in.
Because we've got to scrutiny our bikes, get our transponders so we can see how slow we are. Yeah, just sort of let's get to know the first aid people. I think it's best to sort of.
I can't.
But this is Darb's. Darb's biggest fear is ending up in the ambulance.
Is it not yours, Brett?
No. I've never given
You two like gas and air, though, don't you? Love it.
You've had a bit recently, haven't you?
Yeah, only a bit. It's nothing major, was it? It's just hurt a bit.
So yeah, you've definitely had just a few ribs this year.
Rib, top, first and third rib. It broke a bit off my shoulder and a bit off my elbow, but it all worked, so it's all right.
What happened the next week?
It was 2 weeks. You mean the British Championship? Yeah.
Still raced.
Yeah.
And did brilliant.
Did all right.
We're not made of the same stuff, are we?
No, I definitely ain't.
It's all this fat.
No, these two are pretty good with pain, though. You know, Brett won't take any painkillers. Mark will take painkillers.
No, the thing is, Brett doesn't feel pain. I'm used to pain. That's the only difference. And I've become immune to it.
I can't stand any type of pain. Nothing.
And a cactus on your bell end. That's the one. Or a rat trap. Flipping out. Creswell did a rat trap. Unbelievable. I didn't think you could break your old man, but he was in half, I reckon.
I've seen that as well. On a motorbike as well. I've pretty much seen the same. I remember one of my mates stole my other mate's motorbike.
Yeah.
Went through the traffic lights. Reynolds. Went through the traffic lights and the car turned right. He went through the back window and climbed out the side window. And he come running over to my car. Luckily, I had a car at the time. I think I had a car. And I was like, you ain't getting in here.
Probably someone else's then.
Yeah, he was in a car with no ignition key in, obviously, just some wires.
In that car park. It was mad. And there's just blood everywhere. And yeah, he's just like, showed me. And the helmet was, the helmet was split.
If we talk, actually, we go back to that car part. So when Darb was growing up, me and Brett had like normal cars, and Darb had, I think, every single hot hatch they ever made.
Yeah.
So go through the list.
Wow. The reason I had a hot hatch was because I went from motocross bikes and I realised I was not good at motocross. And then I had 2 road bikes. I wrote both of those off. Wrote them off.
I remember the one. It was an RG 125 Gamma.
Yeah,
and it
Gamma.
was a Skull Bandit one.
Yeah, got a Gamma.
Green and white. Yeah, it's always the best, isn't it?
Yeah,
So my
always the
mum
best.
thought it was a good idea to get me in, again, to keep me out of trouble, to get me a bike. And then when she saw what I was like on the road bike, she wanted me out of bikes. And then little did she know I'd ordered another new one for the next year. So yes, I crashed that Gamma. Didn't write it off. Then I bought a TZR 125, brand new. My mum didn't know. She thought she was prepping me up for a car. Bought that brand new from Knott's, was it?
Yeah, Knott's in Redditch, yeah.
Knott's, bought that from Knott's.
Which is now our favourite drinking place.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, no, that's the one down, isn't it?
You've been you drinking in the second-hand shop?
Second-hand beer is cheaper.
So
I leave most of my beer anyway, so it's relevant.
I bought that. My mum didn't know. My dad did. That's going to get my dad into trouble now. He's always in trouble anyway.
That's another view. We get them 2 views. Get them to watch it separately.
Yeah. Bought that 125 TZR, cruising that round, wrote that off, and then my brother lent me his bike while that one was being wrote off, and I wrote that off as well.
So you've never sold anything?
Video shop.
So there's no point. You've never sold a car by the sounds of it. Just smash them up.
And the story goes then. My mum was desperate to get me off motorbikes after writing 2 off in a week. So she was like, any car you want. And I was like, one of my other friends at the time, he'd made a few quid and he bought a Renault 5 Turbo. And I was just like, that was my car. Like, I just wanted a Renault 5 Turbo because it was so impressive. So she was like, yep, let's go and see. So she took out a loan, bought me a... Yeah. Then sold that to one of my friends, had a Fiesta Turbo.
RS Turbo.
Yeah, RS Turbo, yeah. It's got to have a turbo in it. So it's got to have a turbo. Definitely had in between, I had another Renault 5 Turbo. So I had 4 Renault 5 Turbos in the end. So I did do a lot of miles in the Renault 5 Turbo. And bearing in mind, they were really unreliable.
Yeah.
So they used to break all the time. So everybody used to say, you've done the most miles in a Renault 5 Turbo. Anybody, because like I was forever driving it anywhere and everywhere I could.
Some Cosworths.
Yeah, I had a Sierra Cosworth. Did you?
Some Lotuses.
Yeah, I had a Lotus, same time as you had a Lotus. We both had a Lotus
Elan.
What else did we had? A Corrado.
Oh, yeah, the Corrado. Was that a G60 or a VR6?
No, VR6.
That a proper one?
Yeah, proper 2.9. And I had that tuned as well, and that was a bit of a beast.
I showed Jordan one of them at the when we were at the British Motor Show the other week, and I was like, that's a Corrado. That was amazing. He went,
Square. Yeah, I bet. Square.
There was nothing else. And then I said, that's a Lotus Elan and Lotus Esprit. And then he was like, That's all. It's just like, they're shit. Yeah. And I was like, these are worth a fortune. They're amazing. Yeah. No interest whatsoever.
I'd love an Elan now, but...
I'd love an Esprit.
Would you?
Love an Esprit, but like...
V8.
No, I'd like an early Esprit.
2.2 turbo.
Like the ones which are really triangular. There was a silver one, which Jordan sort of had no interest in again. And that was, there was one there. So
Mark did have an Esprit. You had a couple of Esprits, didn't you? You had a yellow one?
I had a yellow. I think I just had one.
Mustard?
Mustard S4S.
Oh, that was some car, that.
Yeah.
You think back then as well, everybody, that was like, if you couldn't have a Countach, then...
It was a poor man's Lamborghini, for definite.
It was, but everybody had pictures of a white... Everybody had a white Esprit. It was the fastest car, not 60.
It was on like the calendar, wasn't it?
Definitely.
Like what was on the calendar that had been the Murcielago SV, an Esprit. Comment below what used to be on that calendar, because there was, I can't even remember what, but yeah, comment below. Like I suppose that was a 90s.
Always Porsche.
Yeah, 911 turbo. A Bugatti EB110, a McLaren F1. That's what used to be on the calendar.
Yeah. Yeah.
But let us know in the comments if you can think of any of us. XJ220. Yeah. We better not. We're going to run out of comments. Just fill in the gaps. There's another 6. The winner gets a T-shirt. As my mum calling.
Tell you driving.
Hey?
Tell you driving.
Yeah, tell them I'm racing around in a Mini, around the track. So then, so big into your hot hatches and all your cars, still massively into your cars now, more than any of us. And recently made if you can watch some of the videos when Darber's lent us his Tesla. So gone fully electric.
Yeah.
Never looking back.
Well, I always look back. I always look back, don't you? But like, got to look forward as well, ain't you?
Nope. Not yet. So Darb's massively into the electric scene. Actually wanted to do Weston on a Suron, which obviously just like
still do that if the sponsors turn up with the goods.
Oh man, I don't want to scare you, but Suron is not getting around Weston.
There's some new ones now.
No,
your one wouldn't.
My one definitely wouldn't.
No, some Light B or something it's called.
Yeah, mine's the cheap one, but it was I horsepower, yeah, I don't think a Soren's going to, I'm sure you'll prove me wrong. So we're going to go down Weston on the Friday. So we're looking for support really, aren't we? We're looking for Spannerman, body doubles, anybody who can take over after the first.
Yeah.
But we're going to try and get there early, start off, get into the race. And I think, if we're honest, our aim is to get round once to start with, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are you carrying on going?
We all are. You ain't stopping.
No, 1 lap's enough for me.
No,
definitely just 1 lap.
We're going down there to do it.
Yeah,
you've got
an inner strength though, Brett.
Yeah, he has. He's like flipping. He doesn't feel pain, like I say, so he can just keep going.
Well, if you've got tears in your eyes and you're pleading,
I'll have tears in my eyes before I start.
You can stop.
But it's got to be crying.
You've got to be crying, with distress and pain.
I'll be crying before we start.
I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Just I've had enough with tears in your eyes will do for me. And that's it. Fair, you've tried then.
But we're getting around 1 lap, even if basically as a team,
yes,
we are getting around 1 lap, even if we have to carry each other or whatever, but we are getting around a lap. So make sure, I don't know, we've got a few people who are going to sort of said they were going to give us some gear sponsors, so we've all got the same stuff, which I think would be really nice. Chad Jarreton has said that he's going to sort of like sort us out some kit. Obviously I'm going to try and get 64. I don't know if that's possible, but if it's not 64, we're thinking 641, 642, 643, but then the smallest number after the 4 anyway, so it'll pretty much look like 64, but we'll have to talk to Gareth and see if we can sort that out.
Does that mean Buster's coming if Chad's...
You can sort Buster out.
Yeah, I'd love that.
I think that, I really think that a lot of people have come down to support us. I'm thinking, we need help. So, but we need people in the pits if anyone wants to help us. Mind you, Dad won't need to refuel.
No, not after 1 lap. So you're doing more than 1 lap then, are you, Mark?
No, I'm doing 1 lap.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I am doing 1 lap. I am definitely only doing 1 lap. I've got no interest in doing 2 laps. So like I say, get there early for definite.
It's a parade lap as well, Brett, not a race.
Yeah, we should.
It's just a parade lap.
What, for the fans?
Yeah.
For my dad. So as long as we sort of get I think it usually starts about 12:30. So hopefully we'll be done by 1:30, 2 o'clock. Back in the van, Pat's calf. So what was your first car?
My first car was it was an XR3, but it had a 1.3 engine in for the insurance. So it's an XR3 and someone would put a 1.3 engine in it.
So it wasn't it wasn't a 1.3 with an XR3 body kit?
No, the kid.
He'd gone the opposite way.
The kid gone the other way. He just, because it had everything on it. It was heavy, it was terrible. But I wrote it off. I wrote it off on April Fool's Day on the way to college.
Am I the only one who doesn't crash?
Oh, it was a good crash as well.
Never wrote a car off.
I went through the windscreen, hit the.
Obviously, no seatbelt back in those days.
No, I didn't have a seatbelt on. And the kid that I was taking to college, we called him Toffee. He was really well-spoken, religious, never swore. And they hit this car. And the screen demister didn't work. So I was cleaning the screen. And I come off the island by McDonald's and I was accelerating hard. And I hit the back. He was turning left and I hit it. And I went through. And when I come back into the car, he was like, "Fuck me," in a really posh accent. Yeah, but we couldn't get out. The car was all that bent. We couldn't get
Doors
out of it.
open.
The bloke was trying to get us out, saying how inconsiderate. I was like, "Fucking joking, ain't you?" So we ended up having a bit of a set to. And he was the director of Contract Foods. Remember that place? I think it's still there, isn't it? But he had a brand new Granada Scorpio without a boot.
I hope he watches this now. Imagine if he watches that and thinks, I remember that dickhead who smashed into the back of me.
But then after that, I had an MG Metro and it was like one owner and it was off Chris Childs there. You know, the big black and white house on the hill?
Yeah.
We were working there and for some reason he had this MG Metro and he went, "Oh, you can have that and just give me the money when you've got it." And it was like, it'd only done like 20,000 miles. I was like, "Oh, okay. And it was really good because it's quite quick, quite fast, and loved that. Then I had a Nova GTE. No, then I had a Series 1 Land Rover.
I remember the Land Rover.
The 1956 Series 1 Land Rover that we just used to drive it everywhere, through rivers, cross Morrison's Island. I just used to go straight through it. Yeah, it had my own track. It was brilliant. And then, do you remember Pump House Lane?
Yeah.
I remember going down there, and my mate Wayne, who come over the other week from New Zealand, I missed it was a right-hand turn, missed the turn, went through the gate, and because of the ground, we took off, and I didn't have a roof, because they were rare. You couldn't have either canvases, you couldn't get a canvas or hood sticks. And
so in the rain, it just used to get wet.
We just used to drive around with a wax jacket and JT goggles on.
Could you imagine? JT,
like,
remember back then as well? They were cool lads, weren't they?
That was more than my Land Rover.
But how much would that be worth now, that Land Rover?
I paid 150 quid for it. I restored it, got it so you can drive it every day. It had the original engine, 2-litre side valve, and I sold it so I paid 150 quid, restored it, and sold it for 1,500 quid. And then 2 years after, it was worth 30,000.
But what's it worth now?
Probably, I don't know, probably about 30, 40, might be 40, 50. I haven't looked.
I bet they're worth some like proper money.
And then I had a Nova GTE, and then I had a Nova GSI. So I had a GTE for a bit, which was it was a Calypso red one, which was really cool.
I don't remember a Nova GTE. I remember an Astra GTE, but I never remember a Nova GTE.
It was a good car.
I remember Scott Hans had the SR, didn't he?
Yeah. He was doing all right as well.
H8 NDS. Oh, wow.
That's what I had a J Reg.
So I don't remember that. Don't
GSI.
remember a Nova GTE.
They're rare as anything now, they are, I think. Because it's GSI, they only made them for like a year or maybe 2. So, but that's exactly what it looked like. It's pretty cool.
And then from there...
after that...
A bike?
Oh, I did have a bike, yeah. No, I had obviously
some big bikes.
So then I had a Honda Civic, a Passat saloon car. Then I had a Passat Estate V6 Sport. Then went into people carriers. And then I had a bike, and I rode a bike for 3 years, which was a ZX7R.
And people carriers, obviously, because of the kids. Three kids, 3 boys.
Yeah. And then, but the bike, I rode that every day for 3 years. Snow, ice, rain.
Brilliant. With them slicks, cut slicks.
Yeah.
And then lots of vans since, which all go down. I'll tell you the story of Brett's vans, how it works. So he buys a nice van, kills it, and then replaces every single part on the van until it ends up being a new van, and then sells it the week after. So basically somebody ends up with a van which has cost about £1 million with every new part on. Wow. and then buy another new one, and it basically rotates exactly the same, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Always keep hold of them a year too long.
Probably 10 years too long, isn't it? 6 years too long, maybe. I don't know. I just get attached to stuff. I don't like to let things go.
Just keep spending money.
Yeah.
New gearbox, new engine.
No, but when you buy something, it's yours, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? When you've worked hard to get it, it's yours. Definitely. You don't want it to be anyone else's. It's mine. It's my van.
And then just gone into a Transit Custom, beautiful Transit Custom.
Yeah. Similar
to what mine is. And nice to have a nice van again.
Yeah. You and Darb have influenced me on getting it, haven't you? It just took long enough. But yeah, it's brilliant. I love it. It's a great van.
Yeah, great vans. Really great vans. Really, really good. So a lot like a van, but a lot like a car. Yeah. All the creature comforts.
Yeah.
I managed to do the whole lap of the Oval on 2 wheels.
Did you?
Yeah.
In the
I did that
Polaris?
yesterday.
Yeah, in the Polaris.
I want another
on a
go
Honda.
in the Mini.
You want another lap?
Another lap in it. Because that just like watching it now. Can you imagine it now?
It'd be perfect.
What, like you wouldn't get round, would you?
No, it'd be perfect.
Spin up?
No, perfect.
With all that rain?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it'd be like one thing, it just needs all that dust to turn into stick. Yeah. And then it's super, super. Because like, as you know, like coming out those 180s, it just spins. just literally spins. But it's weird. We had obviously quite a few people do the mini lap, and it's unbelievable how like an MOT failure, cheap mini, can be so much fun.
Oh yeah.
Like, and obviously that's got a lot to do with, we're lucky with where we can use it, but how everyone who does a lap just wants to go again and go again and go again.
I couldn't believe how well it drove.
They're amazing cars.
And then on the stag do day, one of my favourite bits was on the top field on the grass, when they were handbraking and sliding and everywhere.
That was everyone's favourite bit. That was because it was just fast, wasn't it? Just again.
Fast and fun. Yeah, you just go.
We didn't use any of that footage, did we, George? Because it was just a free for all, wasn't it? And it was.
There was just people actually getting out of their system.
Yeah, just smashing into people and.
And they were drinking there as well, wasn't it? You could tell that they'd had a few of that vodka that you got, that AU stuff. It's like that was kicking in. I mean, Wayne, he was going, man, hold on. And I was thinking, he's just had 4 in the same glass. You had a drink, Wayne? No, not yet.
See, we tried to get Dan Priest to do this, didn't we? And Sean Jenkinson, and we could have been 5s up, but both of them, they don't seem too keen, which is a shame, because I think both of them would have been good sat here now as well.
Yeah.
They'd have really enjoyed it.
Danny was right up for it when I spoke to him on Friday night, and he told me he's going to ring you. I mean, when we did that, when we were doing that, your stag do day up on I was happy to go with Dan, like you. When you're in a car with them, you're confident.
Yeah, Dan's a good driver. He's a good on a bike. He's good on everything, and he's funny.
Mad. Good or mad?
He's crazy. I don't know I'm going to put this in. We'll have to see whether we're allowed. We went to, when me and Dan went to Weston the one day, he came down to help me to put it up. We reversed in, like just our usual stuff, just reversing back. There was a big bang and we ran this guy over, right? We'd reversed into this guy. The guy was walking behind us, but walking away from the van. We're going really slow backwards, so he can't hear us coming. I didn't even know he was there. We've hit him and he's gone underneath the back of the van. And he's like, I was like, whoa, what was that? And then the vision in my wing mirror is I looked in the wing mirror and he was coming out from underneath the van, but he'd got like a cup of coffee and it was squashed right in his hand. And me and Dan must have laughed for about 50. It was so funny. And luckily this guy found I had to buy him another coffee, which was about £4. We did actually me and my friend Ben Howkins did Weston on we were going to do it on a sidecar. I'd got a broken leg, so we decided that I could do it. I could still race it with like a broken leg just out of plaster. So we went and borrowed this from the Millards, who were they were British champions at the time. Borrowed this. Did you come up to Grafton Manor when we had the sidecar?
No.
So we borrowed this sidecar, decided that sidecar riders were all old, which obviously probably be younger than us now, decided they were all shit and we could win the sidecar race. In our heads, we could win the sidecar race. And we got this, I think it was a Bull Taco, about 7,000 cc or something. And I went to kick
3 turbos.
It didn't even move the kickstart. It wouldn't even go down. And when it bounced back up, if you caught the handlebars, it would smash your kneecap. It was that bad. Neither of us could start it. And the only way we could start it was towing it behind the Sprinter van. So, like, imagine that in the Parc Ferme at Weston, reversing the van in because we couldn't start this flipping thing. So that was the end of our Weston. The only reason we didn't do it is because we couldn't start it.
Brilliant.
So that was going to be.
It's probably not the only reason, because riding one of them things is like impossible.
Imagine.
Like they don't turn.
They used to do it.
They don't turn.
They? I'm sure they used to.
They still do.
They still do, right? Yeah.
On the Saturday.
They don't turn. They like the handlebars don't do anything.
The handlebars don't do a thing. No. It's just a way to rest your arms.
You have to just wait.
No, it's the passenger.
Passenger's everything.
Yeah.
Because when we, like me and Ben had it and I was driving it, and he was in the passenger seat, not seat, and he was like turning, then he got tired and didn't bother. Then we ended up in the hedge and like having a bit of like laugh argument together. And I was like, right, change seat and you'll see. And then put me in and then I didn't bother and like literally just go straight. It does nothing at all unless the passenger leans. It's bizarre. But yeah, back in the day, the quads and the sidecars used to be together with the solos, didn't it? Everyone was together, and they've spoilt the fun now. And the quad race is massive.
spoiled the fun.
Yeah.
I just had a funny thought then about when you said a laugh argument. And me and Mark, we've only had one argument really, laugh argument. I'll just tell you briefly.
That was, to be fair, that was more of an argument. Like, oh, Jesus.
Come on. When was it? 2009? 2008? 2010? 2009, I'm going to say.
Yeah. Where were we? Italy at the Nations. We always used to go abroad, didn't we?
Yeah.
Always used to go. We also do loads of Grand Prix abroad, didn't we?
Yeah. Holland. But this one in Italy, the Nations, to go and watch Josh Coppins. It was brilliant. It was a brilliant holiday. I can't tell you. It was just amazing. But on the night, so literally we just flew in. We touched down straight to this hotel.
Cheapest hire car possible, though, isn't it? Always.
Yeah.
Cheapest one.
Cinquecento.
Yeah, smallest and cheapest.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we went, well, before that, before we found the hotel, we went to the first day, didn't we? And do you remember where we parked?
Yeah. Pilot.
So we'd learnt from our friend Tom Church, that to park wherever you want, you pretended you were a racer, but you were foreign. So obviously we were from England, and whenever we used to stop at the guy, they would go, no. We go, Pilot. Never ever asked us, did they, to show a riding license, kit or nothing. So they always used to work. And we parked literally in the centre of the track, didn't we?
Yep. All VIPs there.
There was like every perfect, beautiful Mercedes, Porsche. Lamborghini, Porsche. First time we ever saw a four-door Porsche, whatever it's called, of ugly car. Panamera. And then there was our Cinquecento in between.
In the middle.
And do you remember, so then, well, there was two journeys, wasn't there? The first night, do you want to say about the first night? So we were looking for our hotel, weren't we?
Yeah. And we could see the hotel. We could see it. And I was like, there it is. And we drive around. We missed the turn-in. We can see it.
This is on the motorway. And missing the turn-in was another 15 minutes or so.
So it was 15 minutes back round. We could see it and it's back round. But there it is. Get off. Took that turn off. No, still couldn't get to it. And then there it is. And he's just like, in the end, like we're both starving. Like we've had nothing to eat. It's 9 o'clock at night.
We missed the food, didn't we?
Yeah. It's like 9 o'clock at night. Literally, then he's just threw his toys out the pram. Like, just fucking shut up. I can see it. It was hilarious. Of course, I love a laugh.
I turned into a little kid, didn't I?
Yeah.
Turned into a little spoiled brat.
Yeah.
I had a little bit of a paddy.
Yeah.
And then we did the next day, again, parked in Pilot all the way into the centre. Then we came out, and obviously it was always a mad rush for the plane, wasn't it? Always a mad rush. So we've come out the car park and it was gridlocked, wasn't it? Absolutely gridlocked. Do you remember the guy who tried to go down the ditch?
Well, I wanted you to do it, didn't I? I was like, I'm sure we can make that. We can get out of the ditch. We can get out of it.
So there was a ditch. If you imagine that the ploughed field was there, but there was a ditch to get into the plough field, but then you could miss all the traffic, go along the plough field and back out.
On the island.
On the island. So Darb was like, we can definitely go in that field. And then a guy did it in like an X5 or something, didn't he?
Yeah.
Stuck.
Oh, it was wedged.
You're stuck on it in between the thing. And like Darb was like, told you we wouldn't have made it. And then the only way to do it, and we had to go down the wrong side of the road, all the way down, and everybody wanted to punch their heads in, didn't they? Because they were all queuing. Brilliant times.
Yeah. We just about made it to the airport in time.
Always
Literally.
like a mad rush.
Oh, yeah. We was literally in. Mark had to buy a bottle of water or something like that, and then we were on. Good times. Because our friend was, he didn't actually make world champion, so Josh will be a bit upset like hearing that yet again, because that's what people have reminded him all his life. He finished second the year, so we used to go with him, didn't we? It was brilliant.
Second due to injury?
His bike broke.
Joking?
No, his bike broke. Where did it break in Italy? I think it was in
his shoulder, didn't he?
Did his shoulder? Yeah, his back brake failed. Went over the underbars into chestnut fencing, and then he was just getting back right, and he chopped the end of his big toe off, didn't he? And then
how did he do that?
In a practice, so he was practicing in Lommel, and back then, like the track would be open to me and you and to him.
Yeah.
So he'd come over this jump, a kid had fell off, no marshals. It was a practice day, and then he ended up chopping the end of his big toe off, and then. I remember it was at Matley Basin, wasn't it? So he was that far ahead. He was considering not winning so that his mum and dad could be there for the weekend he won. That's how good he was. That's how much better he was than anybody else. And he ended up breaking his shoulder, came back at Matley Basin, and in theory now, he should have just waited another week to the next round because he didn't need to come back that weekend because he had that much of a points lead. He could have just turned up at the last round. And he broke it again, didn't he, in qualifying, just going down a hill. And you saw him like go like that. And then by the time we got back up to the camper, he'd gone. So he'd just driven out the field, obviously still in his race kit. He's gone out the field in his camper, gone. And then we were at the last round. We still went with him in the last round, and we were sat in hospitality in Alpine Stars. It was amazing. And we were watching it on the screen, and he literally watched the points lead, like people overtake him in the points while he was sat having his tea. And he went from first to I think
he got third.
And on the last lap, I think Steve Ramon or somebody overtook somebody, and he sat there and he said, that just cost me 30,000 euros. Because that was the difference between second and third as a bonuses. Yeah. So that pass cost him like 30. And obviously the next year he was still on the Yamaha, Ronaldo Yamaha, just didn't happen for him and never won it since.
That's Philip Archer's year.
Philip Archer won that year as his teammate. Then he went on to the Aprilia.
That was fun though, wasn't it?
Twin thing.
It was good.
Fun,
it was a good time.
That was when we went to watch him in Italy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. He was still really good. The bike was, I suppose we can say, horrific now, can't we?
Yeah.
It was horrific, and he was way better than what the bike was. Broke, like it was that bad that halfway through the race it used to melt the seat and the mudguards. That's how bad.
How hot it is.
How hot it used to go. But it didn't happen once, did it? Every single race, it just used to burn his bum. He couldn't sit down. That's how hot it got. It was horrific because the pipes used to come up through the airbox, didn't they? Or they'd moved the airbox.
Yeah, they moved it in. Got it right in the end, didn't they?
And it used to like literally just his back mudguard used to just fall off, and everyone used to go, God, the flipping plastics are shit. And it wasn't. It was just it get that hot that it would just melt everything. And like he literally couldn't sit down on the bike for the last part of the race. And do you remember how it used to jump? Used to just endo, didn't it?
Yeah, it was heavy for it.
Because of the rotation of
it was just heavy on the front.
Downward pull on the engine.
Yeah, like because it was a twin, like something just didn't work right. And it was like, he used to call it, we can get, I suppose we can say it now, he used to call it his retirement bike, didn't he?
Yeah.
Because he was paid that much money to ride it. That
just to ride, like he knew he was never going to win on it. But he did have some wicked races.
Like he finished, remember that Lommel it wasn't it? It was amazing. Finished sixth, didn't he?
It was amazing.
He was unbelievable, like way better than the bike was. And he was amazing that day. And he had, I'll never forget, he had a massive bonus structure and he had to finish in the top 8, I think.
Yeah.
And he finished 9th about flipping 10 times, didn't he? Like an 8th was like 3,000 euros or something, and a win was like 50,000 euros or something. It was like like he could have earned millions because obviously Aprilia was massive. And I think he got paid like, I don't know, 30, 40, 50,000 euros to race it. And it was literally, he did it to secure his future.
Yeah. Well, what's mad is that you get a company like Aprilia that MotoGP will spend whatever and then develop a motocross bike and not do nothing about it.
It's what you're going to sell in it.
It's weird because they went into it and the only reason he went on it was because they promised they were going to do this, and this, and it was going to be the best bike in the world and he was going to be the development rider, and they just never changed anything, did they? Sort of like they said they were going to do this and then they just never spent the money.
I remember being here and he was with you and you were riding up the field, up the track, and he was going off to work on James Stewart's Yamaha when he went.
Yeah, because he was a test rider for Yamaha.
He couldn't. James Stewart had a problem with it, and he didn't like the Yamaha when he first went over to it. And Josh said he was flying out to rectify the problem.
Well, he rode here, didn't he? We had a really good motocross track back then, didn't we? It was rutty, it was horrible. And he borrowed your 450 Honda, and it was wet. And he said that your 450 Honda, which was probably 6 years old?
2005 it was, the bike was. And it was probably older than that.
So 6 or 7 years maybe.
Yeah.
And he said that bike was better in the wet than his Ronaldo Yamaha. Because it was, I suppose, a lot flatter and a lot more put rather than horsepower.
Yeah.
I couldn't ride it. I kept when we used to go to Apex and play, because I went from the WR to that, I kept stalling it.
Yeah,
and apparently it's because the flywheel
Flywheel's
wasn't
so
heavy
heavy.
enough.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't heavy enough.
Yeah,
It was too light. And you could weight them, couldn't you? You could buy a kit that weighted them and that. So I was like,
That's a good thing about that 350 KTM I've got. If it's not on fire, it's so easy to ride. It's not going to be easy when I'm sort of going round, obviously, but
Not in the sand.
But like just that electric start for me, it's just, I haven't got no choice. I can't kick a bike. Like I've got a replacement knee, and obviously wobbly ligaments. So starting it isn't an option. So an electric start. So Darb, when I sort of like all through my racing career, I did AMCA. Then I used to race at 125 and a 250. And then I got a bit older, and then we weren't so serious. And then we used to go like every Sunday morning for years. We used to go racing, didn't we? Every Sunday morning. Darb's always late. And if you ask him where he is, he always says, I'm just passing Morrison's. And it's a lie which you've managed to keep going for a lot of years to his wife and to everybody else, that he's just passing Morrison's. Always used to be late. Sometimes used to miss practice because Darb couldn't get out of bed, weren't really a morning person. But then so many times, unfortunately, over the years, you've ended up taking me to hospital on a Sunday after. Well, no, I've actually gone via the ambulance, and then you've picked me up on the Monday mornings. And I remember the Focus ST when I was sick.
That was my mum's car when I picked you up.
Was it in your mum's car?
Yeah, because I thought the other cars were a bit too hard to ride. Picked him up in my mum's car, and you're still sick on the way back.
I wonder what was. I don't know what I did with it. That was my hip, wasn't it?
I think it was your hip.
That was just before I went on holiday.
Could have been anything.
The day. And then there's been various collarbones. The back one was good, wasn't it? That was a good one.
Yeah.
So we were practicing all together, weren't we?
oh yeah.
There was two tabletops at Worcester. Like, I'm sure a lot of you have seen it. There was two tabletops. I've decided to jump the two of them all together, landed short, went massive, lay on the floor, was embarrassed that I was laying on the floor. So everyone came over, you're right. And I thought, pretty sure I broke my back, but I'm going to get up because it's embarrassing. Stood up, all my legs and arms were still working. So I thought, bonus. Said to Darby, he was like, you're right. I was like, yeah, let's just go home. And he was like, okay. So loaded up the van. Everybody did it for me. And then we went to pull out of Worcester, and I just went straight to hospital, Darby. And he was like going, I knew it. I knew you'd hurt yourself. I knew you'd hurt yourself. Went into the hospital. So Darb went up to the thing and said, he's broke his back. Like, can we see somebody urgent? And they're like, yeah, right, love, just sit in them plastic chairs. And he was like, no, he's broke his back. He knows what he's doing. And they're like, so then sat there for hours, literally hours.
Yeah.
Went into X-ray, walked into X-ray, come out with like 17 people either side of me, flipping lay down, the usual, broken back. Spent a few days, week or whatever in hospital. But that was, to be fair, it was a pretty standard.
Very standard.
And then the good one was my mum and dad, wasn't it? When I broke my foot in practice.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, we you got there. I got there late. I got there late because it was Bromyard Way or somewhere like that.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? That way?
Bromyard on straw
Something
track.
like that,
Straw
yeah.
track, I'm
yeah,
sure.
it was a stubble field.
Yeah. And you'd already hurt yourself. And then you were like, well, I don't know if I like it. Shall I go home? And then your dad was like, hey, we're here now.
Yeah, my dad had just got there, so I had my foot in a bowl of cold water, didn't I?
Yeah. And then you said, no, I'll race. And I said, you sure? Because that usually means it's a bad sign. If Mark don't want to do it, usually means if he's hearting in it means it's something sketchy. I think then all I heard was your dad, I can't see Mark on the start, and usually he's the first one round the corner. I think everybody would run you over.
Literally.
And me and your dad were running up to the start line.
I sort of just crossed, I hit somebody's back wheel.
Well, who was it, to be honest?
I think it was Simon White, wasn't it?
Usually
it was Dom, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was Dom, yeah. So I hit his back wheel, went down, got ran over by literally loads of people, cut myself to pieces, didn't I? I was in a bad way. And we were going on holiday to Spain the next day, a couple of days afterwards.
Days later.
So then we went on holiday to Spain. I was like black and blue and I looked like I'd been in a car crash. And I was really, like, I was sore. I can't remember what I broke. I broke my hip, some ribs, and then, so I wasn't moving too well. But then about 5 or 6 weeks afterwards, everything had stopped hurting, but my neck was really sore, wasn't it?
It was clicking on holiday.
Yeah, it was clicking on holiday. So I thought, like, and it didn't get any better. So I thought I'll go to the hospital and like just, sort of check it out. Turns out I'd broke my neck, but luckily I was that bad with everything else. I wasn't moving much because like I couldn't go. We had to like slowly get into the swim pool and everything because everything was hurting so much. But yeah, I'd broke my neck. And I remember Gordon Crockard saying to me that when you're really, really hurt, and it's a good way of thinking about this, when you're really hurt, when you're hurt a bit, you know what you've broke. You go, I've hurt my shoulder, I've hurt my leg, I've hurt this, I've hurt that. But he said, when you hurt and you don't know where you hurt, that's when you're really ill.
Yeah.
So it's your spleen, your kidneys, your lungs, or like, but
Sorry,
when
major.
when you can't tell where that pain is, it's like when I got paralyzed for a bit with it, when I had that massive crash in that stock car, the same thing. I hurt, but I couldn't tell you where it was, and then you know you're bad, and that's when he did his spleen. But yeah, we've had some interesting weekends, and hopefully Weston won't follow the same path because we're only going for a bit of fun.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So we asked on Instagram, Mark McCann 64, for some questions about our Western preparation. I can't see well enough, so the glasses are going on. Have you ever done it before? That's from Jammers in Coventry. Covered that obviously already. So I think I've done it maybe 10, 15 times. But obviously I was a lot younger and fitter. And obviously we've heard that Brett and Darb haven't.
Brett's done it.
Yeah.
I'm the only one who hasn't done it.
How do you train for your races? That's Will from Leeds. We're definitely not going to train. That's definitely what's happening. And we're doing nothing like that. We're going in cold.
Me and Brett are going to train.
What time are you looking to get? So obviously, I suppose it would usually go in laps. So I think if there's a leaderboard and it does scroll down, I think you should wait till near the end to see if we're going. Who are you taking as a pit crew? Mikey from Coventry. Well, one thing we'll have is Mikey Bruford from Weston.
Yeah, brilliant.
So Mikey will be a big part of our pit crew for definite. He's always been there with my family before. Some great stories about my dad nearly having a fight. I'll quickly cover that actually. You used to have to get there to get a good pit spot. And we used to go down dead early in the morning, it'd still be dark, to get a good pit spot because it was a better chance of finishing well in the race because you didn't have to travel as far. And we got down there, roped it all off. And then when we got down there for the race, somebody had moved all our stuff across and they'd moved their pit in there. And I remember my dad throwing their toolboxes, their fuel cans and everything in front of them. But he was going off and swearing that much, everybody shit themselves and didn't say a single word to him. And he was just launching everybody's stuff, going, you fucking cheeky bit. Anyway, so that was that. Do you find sand in places where it shouldn't be after the race? Tyler in Staffordshire. It's usually bum sore. So you usually have to put a bit of Savlon on. What line are you starting on?
Start line.
Now that's going to be an interesting one because there you have to get your bike in, and depending on your number, I think now you go in like row 100, 200, 300, 400. So obviously if we're going to go 64, 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to be on row 6, but yeah, we'll see how we work on that. We're trying sort of sneak our
further back.
Yeah, and a bit further forward.
How many riders are in total?
I think there's probably about 1,000. Right. Yeah, so don't fall off on the first June. What's your history of motocross? We've already talked over that. Do you mind getting sand in your teeth from Cocknose from Cumbria? It's Brad O'Leary, that is. Cheers, Brad. Hope you're doing all right. What training are you doing? Absolutely nothing because I haven't got time. What position are you expecting to finish? That's from Barry.
What's your best finish been, Mark?
57th.
Not 64.
No, 57 would be better. And obviously in Western back in those days when you used to have Stefan Everts and, 57 was a a half decent result, getting in the top 100, but I just missed the top 50. How come you decided to do the beach race again, or even get on a bike again? Chris from Warrington. And yeah, I did mention it, like, I suppose we should mention this again, literally because of my dad. My dad was so massively into Western. He'd love to have come and watched this. Unfortunately, he died a couple of weeks ago. And I suppose we're really doing it just because this is our last chance, really, I suppose, isn't it?
And I think it's where you started, isn't it? Before Four Wheels for us all, there was two.
Yeah.
And it put a smile on your face.
Yeah.
And your dad
was a big biker, wasn't he? He
massively, yeah.
He used to race them, didn't he?
Yes. So my dad used to race. That's where, should cover that actually. That's where the 64 comes from. So literally, my dad's race number was 64. Then obviously me and my brother both took on that number because that's what you do.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's 64. Was
have you ever
literally
told them that before?
We have mentioned it occasionally because people always think it might be my age.
IQ.
I'd take 64.
I was going to say, I would definitely.
I'd take 64. From Paul Winrow, best advice: don't wave at anybody. Now, Paul has been multi champion on the quad.
Yeah.
And last time he did it, he went up one of the dunes and waved to somebody and ended up in hospital with a broken, I think he did his knee ligaments, a femur or something. But yeah, he crashed waving at somebody. He only had one hand on the handlebars. What got you into dirt bikes, quads? Yeah, literally, like we've covered already, that was literally my dad and my brother did it before me. We were all doing BMXing. But yeah.
I mean, you only drove the buggy because you couldn't ride a motocross bike because your body wouldn't let you.
Literally, yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Like, literally, the only reason on Four Wheels was everything hurt. I used to get to Wednesday probably before I could not be in bad pain. And then, of course, me and Darby, I used to race every weekend, didn't I? And I raced every weekend for, like, all my friends started, stop, but I probably did 20 years.
Definitely. Non-stop,
every weekend. The only reason I didn't race was because I was on crutches or in plaster. And
he says race loosely. Yeah. He rode every weekend.
To be fair, I feel that I always raced. Always.
Yeah,
I've never been one for riding, apart from this weekend will definitely be
a
ride. But I think I've always raced. Millen from MC, from Ben, gonna do it in fancy dress so we can spot you. No, but like I say, hopefully Chad Yarrington's going to hook us up so that we all match, and we'll try and do something so that I think if we're all together in the same kit anyway, we'll match anyway. And maybe, should we do the bikes black? Is that possible?
That'd be good, yeah. Can we not wrap them
or wrap them or spray them? Your man would be fine with going back with a black Suzuki.
How's that work?
Are you going to do more bike videos? No. Simply no. This is the only time you're ever going to see on a motocross bike. That's for certain. So this is a one-off.
Oh, hang on. Do they want to see us on?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Comment below if you want to see some more crashes.
And if you do, it doesn't matter because it ain't going to happen.
Not going to happen.
It's not happening.
Have they ever seen the crash? Have they ever seen the crash?
Oh, should we get that up?
Yeah, it was on a video. It was that bad. It was on a video called Pain 2.
Pain, yeah.
It was Pain 2.
I remember the series, yeah.
And basically, I was in the lead, another hole shot as usual. That was my only good bit. Went over the first drop off, back end kick. Well, it swapped and kicked and then hit the floor. I did nose, wrist and femur. And I was lay on there. But probably the bad thing about that day is I spent 2 weeks in hospital then. I was in rugby to start with, then got transferred to Solihull. But the bad thing on that day, which is horrible, my mom was up at the car and obviously the Chinese whispers going around, what's he done this time? Is he broke? Blah, blah, blah. And she heard the rumour I was dead. So...
But the video looks like...
Yeah, it looks like I died.
Dead, yeah. You were just ragdolled, weren't you?
Yeah, I was bad. And on the video, actually, you can see my dad running down
the
hill to come and get me.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I've watched that video
that.
a lot of times.
Yeah.
More than you ever would. I think you've ever watched it twice.
And I remember my femur was bad. I remember that was a painful bone, but obviously, and I remember the following Friday after I came out of hospital, Jason Cross and Neil Tarver picked me up in there. They had a Suzuki Vitara. I got drunk at the Fox Idiot, left my crutches in the hedge, went then to the engine house for the night, come back, picked up my crutches, then spent the next day in hospital again because my knee and my leg had swelled up that much. I had to have it all cut open to try and get the swelling to go down.
I didn't know that.
I remember Neil Tarver.
Actually, yeah, it was good fun. And actually, the last story we're going to say about injuries was when I had my knee replacement, not last year, the year before, the stitches, because of obviously work, I had it done like a week before Christmas so that I'd miss the less amount of times. No, actually just before Christmas. And my stitches were supposed to come out on, after the 10 days was New Year's Eve. Now, I thought we don't need to go to hospital, so Jane did it. So we're in the house and Jane's got this special clip thing to take the staples out from where all the stitches was. And we did it, and literally, just as I was doing it, the skin just went pop, and you heard it pop. And it was like, went all wide. So I was like, shit. So Jane rushed up to the chemist and bought butterfly stitches, and we put it down. And then we went shopping to Morrison's, and I remember going around Morrison's and having an itch on my leg. And I looked down and all my sock and all my shoe was full of blood because it had opened up. So we then went to Redditch Hospital. I'll never forget the woman. And she was like, what's gone on in here? I was like, oh yeah, I had some stitches taken out today and it's opened up. And she went, well, that wasn't ready to have the stitches taken out. Who did it? Which hospital did you go to? And I was like, well, yeah, Jane took the staples out actually. And she went, oh, is she a trained doctor? And that's all she said. And then I had to have all my legs stitched back up for New Year's Eve. So that's pretty much how life works in this house.
Nice.
So obviously the Western, it starts Friday the 21st, Saturday the 22nd, and the race on the 23rd starts about midday. But like I said before, just come down, come and say hello, come and help us. We're definitely going to need all the encouragement. So if you do see us go around the track, make sure you sort of... what Lucozade, I'd even consider probably drugs if we're halfway around the lap and I can't get back. Not that I've ever tried any, but yeah, anything to help would be an advantage. So we'll see you at Weston. Please remember to drop a comment, even if it's just some encouragement and a thumbs up, because we need that algorithms on this new channel. So thank you for watching, and we will see you at Weston Beach Race.